Hey yo, what's up? So, I got a question for people who are scientifically minded because, you know, last week while I was going through some of the skiz, my brain just started seeing all these numbers and they were moving really fast. And I like to think of infinity, a lot of the times when I'm skizzing, but what I'm trying to figure out is if all of the matter in the universe could have existed in one place at some point, why, when we use the general relativity model, I can't even, how can I articulate this? Okay, so why, if we know the universe could be infinite, how do we know that there aren't other great concentrations of matter like that? And if they're expanding too, how do we know that there's not a huge wave of matter flying back at us? Because for the universe to be expanding, but to have come from a singularity, a condensed piece of all this matter, how would it not be reasonable to assume that that same function exists out there somewhere, and that one might be hurtling matter towards us? I'm also curious about light, which this is, getting off more into being speculative and wishful, but objects emitting light, I'm just curious if the human brain really understands the correlation of events, because if I use ants as an analogy, I don't think they can understand the physics of like fire, let's say. Is light as energy being shot forth from an object, or is it being pulled from the object? Or could it be both things simultaneously? Because if we shot, like if I had, like, let's say a gun that shot light and I fired it off into space and there's nothing in its way, would it travel forever? And my question is, what would it travel to? And if it's moving at that speed, the time dilation effect on the photon, like I'm trying to ask, I know what it sounds like, but it's hard to articulate this in human language. I'm trying to ask questions about the invisible variables that exist beyond human perception. How do we know there's not like some sort of grid around the universe pulling the light out of objects versus them emitting them? I'm sure that question has an answer. But anyways, back to the original one. How do we know there's not other singularities of matter exploding? And when you get far enough out into the infinity of the universe, we come to find that matter's shooting right back at us. Just think about it. I'm sure there's an explanation, It's not like I'm thinking of anything new. There's billions of minds on the planet.